Tonight, a story of history and mystery takes place at Lake Pleasant up in the Northwest Valley. Lake Pleasant is held back by this earthen dam called the New Waddell Dam. That dam replaced the old Waddell Dam, which was a record-setting concrete arch dam when it was built back in the 1920s. You can see it was a beautiful dam. You can also see how much bigger the new dam is than the old one. So here's the earthen dam here, and here's the old dam. The lake then filled in behind it. So the old dam is now hundreds of feet underwater. And so is the body of a scuba diver who disappeared in this area nearly 15 years ago now. He has never been recovered, and we wanted to find out why. In October of 2010, Tim Borger, a 48-year-old diver, went for a dive in Lake Pleasant at the site of the old Waddell Dam. Somehow, he got separated from his group. He never resurfaced. And now, almost 15 years later, he's still at the bottom of the lake.
He's somewhere here on the dam and probably never to be discovered again.
But why? Why is Tim Borger still down here after all these years? He's the only drowning victim in the Maricopa County Sheriff Lake Patrol's history they haven't been able to recover. And exploring the reasons why requires a look back in history. Lake Pleasant was nearly tripled in size with the building of the new earthen Waddell Dam in the mid-1980s. That dam's still in use today. The new dam dwarfed the old Waddell Dam that had held back the water in the lake since the 1920s. And when the lake began to fill to its new capacity, workers cut a big gap in the old dam to let water through. They blew that gap with dynamite.
Well, imagine a building collapse. That building collapse is now 260 feet below the surface.
And that building collapse debris, 260 feet down, is beyond treacherous for divers. This video was taken by a technical diver who spent time searching for Tim. Amanda Hughes is the current dive team leader for MCSO.
They left all the debris. You can see doors and trees and parts of the buildings and picnic tables, so there's rebar.
The theory is somehow Tim's body got wedged in between some of these massive chunks of debris. The dive team's Jason Gilchrist conducted over 60 search missions for Tim.
There are voids that I've went into with the ROV, and I went down 30 feet before I hit bottom, and I couldn't go forward, backwards, or anything. So there's a good potential that he possibly went into one of the voids that we just physically cannot get into, and even with the ROV.
Forrest Packbush is a Phoenix firefighter. He also owns the diving shop and dive charter business called Cyborg Pirate. He's dove on the dam many times and agreed to give us a look at the dam to show us how, safely, it is still such a big draw for divers today. We begin with a briefing.
Stick with me, we're gonna stay on the top of the dam. We may move down here just a little bit.
Then we splash to begin our dive. We follow an anchor rope down to the top of the dam, and soon we can see it. It's huge. We're down about 80 feet here, and the visibility this time of year allows us to see the dam's arches. In fact, the old Waddell Dam was the biggest concrete arch dam in the world when it was built. And then we swim to the breach. You can clearly see where the dam's been cut. Here's a photo when it actually happened above ground, and what's down here now. And about 170 feet below us, about triple our depth, nowhere near where we're going, is where Tim is still lost. That has to be frustrating though, right? All that work.
It's the only one that we have not been able to locate and return for the family.
And over time, the silt has washed over him, settled over him, and so he's not to be recovered.
Hundreds of hours of searching, and now 15 years of a mystery that will likely remain unsolved. Tim Borger is still considered a missing person. For more on this story, including extended interviews and a longer video of our dive down to the dam, download our streaming app 12+. And when you do that, go to the Troy-Hayden Reports section. So download it on your TV now to watch for free.